Hi guys, this video is brought to you today by my friend Shin, aka Weird8 Productions. Visit his channel with the link in the description to see his short films and his movie and cartoon compilations. The EOS 1V may not be the last film camera to be discontinued, but here's why I've moved into the digital age. Alright, so today we're going to talk about film cameras, or rather the decline of film cameras. Don't kill me yet, don't kill me yet. Just because I use digital SLR doesn't mean I want film cameras to die and for you to stop doing your hobby, shooting film. But let's just get into it before things get tense, before there's a fight in the comments. So especially the Canon film SLR community just dealt a pretty big blow, I would say so myself, and that is the announcement that Canon is ending sales of their EOS 1V, which was released back in 2000. The funny thing is, in 2006, Canon announced that they were going to fully end production of their film cameras, but it sounds like up until or since then they've been selling the back stock of their whatever film cameras they had left in place. So it'll be interesting to see whether there are there any Canon film cameras that are still in production. Let me actually double check. I'm not sure if you can find them on Canon's website, but it just hit me while recording this video. Yeah, can't seem to find it on their website, but if you know of any that are still in production, then please let me know. Although obviously, given how I can't really find them and how I haven't seen a Canon film camera in mainstream stores, it is very apparent that they've been on the decline and they're bordering on being extinct. But I will also get into that. Canon will continue to repair the camera until October 31st, 2025. They did say they may stop after October 31st, 2020 because of the parts for the 1V are getting a bit hard to find. So that's what happens when a camera has not been in production for years, So in terms of spec, I wanted to talk a little bit about the specs of the 1V before I go into my full thoughts. The 1V, a few of the specs were that it had 100% coverage, optical viewfinder, and a 45-point AF system. I've heard mixed sources talk about how many frames this camera can shoot per second. I know Canon said 9 and even 10 frames per second, but some sources say in order to get to 10 frames per second, you need to plug in the power booster, which is kind of like the modern day equivalent of the battery grips you often see professionals use. So again, maybe it's something you guys can clarify in the comments. But how do I feel about this as a person that doesn't use film cameras anymore? And like the question of why I don't. And the obvious reason is because the digital age took over. It's a lot more convenient to use a digital camera since you could actually see the photos right after you shoot them to see if your subject is in focus, if your exposure settings were correct, and things like that. And also, you don't have to go to a 1-hour photo store anymore, or go into a dark room. You can just get home, edit them on a computer, and send them out, whether it be on your social media page or your publication. And that's definitely what I saw when I was in my school's newspaper, since film photos took much longer to develop than you could with a digital camera. It was always a balancing act of quality over speeds. And of course, since digital SLR photos were good in their own right, they were very crisp and they gathered quite a bit of light. Obviously that's why, we accepted them. That's why a lot of newspapers have been digital, and that's not to say if you personally prefer shooting film, I definitely respect it. I'm not telling you to move on. I'm just saying why me and so many others have gone digital. And also ever since, the digital, the DSLR film revolution took off with cameras like the Nikon D90 and especially the Canon 5D Mark II, which I personally used, and I really liked the photos and videos when I got to use that camera. that's kind of another thing. I like having a camera that can film both, that can do both really good HD video, like on the Nikon D7000 I'm filming on right now, as well as taking really good pictures, which I've been doing on digital SLRs for the past around 7 years now. They serve my purpose and they've helped me get a job, and hopefully they can help me open even more doors in the future when I start looking for work. So that's just kind of where it's at. I know there's a lot of people that say, oh well, digital camera noise isn't as good as film noise, and that's kind of, I mean, yes, there's definitely truth in that, but that's just kind of, then it kind of goes into really minuscule kind of things, kind of like the ongoing debate between should you shoot digital SLR or mirrorless cameras, because that's really up to you, and yeah, that's definitely another conversation where a lot of people, especially petapix, are saying, oh, the DSLR is dying, mirrorless cameras are where it's at, but, that's another video. But in terms of digital versus film, people moved over to digital because of the convenience, and people didn't want to wait an hour anymore. And trust me, I've definitely lived through those days. I remember when I used to go to Costco with my mom, and she would drop off film from like her film camera. She used to use compact cameras, and we would either wait an hour or come back the next day. And Costco used to have the section in the right side of the store where they would have all these customer envelopes and they would have your names on it, and that's where you would come pick them up. So trust me, even just like when I was typing notes, it just really brought back those days of when my family used to do that. And of course, everybody, including my parents, has moved on. I don't want to use everybody, but the people who did move on to digital have moved on for reasons I've already said. And me personally, I got my start in digital. I mean, I've used film cameras before, like when I went to Washington, D.C., I used both my Nintendo DSi and a Kodak, one of those disposable Kodak film cameras. My mom made me take one of those, and I remember on that trip, I kind of used the DSi more because I got to see the pictures right when I took them, and I got to share them with my friends on the spot, So from there, I mean, I used like my mom's Nikon N50 film camera, which I believe was called the F50 in America. And, again, I remember, like, because it was the first time I got to use a DSLR of any kind, I just took random pictures, like, of the lamp or my messy room and so forth. Never got to develop those, but it was definitely a lot of fun. I guess technically it was my first experience with a full-frame camera, and it is the only full-frame camera I have in my house. But yeah, and I don't want to keep regurgitating the whole why, the digital users moved on, but where film cameras have a new lease on life, or in my opinion, have a second life, is that a lot of, I remember my first photo editor got me into doing this, and instead of buying these really expensive $1,000, $2,000 lenses, he recommended actually buying these older lenses that are still really good quality. In fact, they used to be the go-to professional lenses like photojournalists use. Like, in fact, many of my best lenses I have are from the days of film, like the 20-35 lens I'm filming this video on right now. That's actually from 1993, years before Nikon came out with the D1, which was their very first digital SLR. But many of the lenses I also use for various kinds of photography, things like sports and so forth, are from the film days. I've got my 35-70 lens, which was actually first came out in 1987. This lens I use right here, easily one of my favorites for shooting things like videos and portraits and flower photography. I mean, I still definitely he used that. Let me see if I could actually find my other, my telephoto lens. I don't have that on hand at the moment, but what I was referring to was my 80-200 2.8 telephoto lens that I use for a lot of my sports photography. I may even put sample pictures in the video, and that 80-200 was from 1997, which was pretty much right on the edge of when Nikon announced their digital cameras like the D1. So that's where I think a lot of these film lenses have a new lease on life, because they're a lot cheaper and they were the lenses pros used back in the day, and they're still very good quality. That's where they are now. A lot of digital users aren't going to say, oh, they're old lenses, who the fuck cares? And oh my god, and this one I almost forgot my trusty 50, which is nifty 50, which is kind of messed up, but this was my mom's lens that she had on the Nikon N50, and I basically took that, and now it has a new life as part of my photography. Really should I think I should really repaint the numbers on that, because it's starting to get a little messed up from wear and tear. But yeah, so that's where I think film is at right now. I mean, a lot of digital users, they are buying film lenses to use on their digital cameras, and again, if you're more of a film user, you prefer the quality of film, and you even like scanning them digitally so you can share them on the internet, more power to you. This is just my explanation as to why digital users are where they are right now. So this is definitely not a total blow, even though, yes, they're no longer going to sell the 1V. You can still find the EOS 1V on eBay for around $450 to $700 if you really want one. So if you still want to get one, please go right ahead. I'll try to include a link in the video description. But so yeah, this has been Blood Moon Bobby, and please let me know your thoughts below. How do you personally feel that the EOS 1V is no longer going to be sold? Do you still use one? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you a film photographer? Do you have your reasons for continuing to use film? Is there any workarounds digital users like myself could do? Because admittedly, I was thinking of getting like a Pentax 645N so I could have a medium format camera. But it's just going to be a matter of having to go to like the local photo store, which I don't even know if Walmart or Costco take medium format prints. But please feel free to let me know if they do. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Hey guys, this has been a Blood Moon Bobby video. Please like this video or dislike it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.